Welcome to my tutorial for NARC for the NES. And I'm going to try to break everything down that I did to beat the game. There's a lot of exploits, so there's some very easy ways to beat this game. The last boss is ridiculous with the hit detection, so I'm going to explain that. There is an easy way to deal with it. So you can bust guys by standing on them. You'll arrest them if you stand on their body for a few seconds, maybe a second or two. You'll see it says busted. The only reason I do this in the beginning is just to demonstrate it, because I don't actually need to use it for this playthrough. But it is an alternate option if you want to farm points to get 1-ups. Every 100,000 points that you gain, you will get a 1-up, and it shows it at the top of the screen right above your little helmets that show how many lives you have and your health. So for every 20 busts you get, it's basically a 1-up at the end of the level when your score is tallied up. You won't get the 1-up until the end of the stage where your score is tallied up. But if you want to, you can farm these easy bald-headed trench coat guys for easy arrest at any point in the game pretty much. There are a few points where you don't really want to do it because there's other hard guys mixed in with them, but a lot of times it's just them, and they're very easy to farm for busts. So if you get 50 or 100 busts, you'll end up getting a lot of 1-ups out of that. You can only hold a maximum of 5 lives, though. So anything beyond that, you're not going to be able to bank it. So you're not going to be able to save up a bunch of lives. You can never have more than 5 at any given point. And that's shown by how many helmets you have below your health bar. See, it says 2. That's 2 lives. Also to the left is your bullets for your machine gun and your missiles below that. Missiles are very important. The machine gun is important to have 2 ammo for because it makes the final form of the boss a little bit easier to deal with, but you should have that anyway by that point. The main thing to pick up is going to be, there's going to be one spot where I farm missiles, and then I'm going to use those missiles to take out helicopters, which are going to give us the full 5 lives on the 3rd stage, so I'll explain that. For this part, you're going to have to shoot guys until a key card randomly appears. For the dogs, you have to hold B to crouch, and then you hold your fire button to fire while crouched, and moving up and down while crouched and firing will make it easier for you to hit the dogs. They're a pain in the ass. They can take your health bar down very quick. Once you get the key card, you can leave. You need the blue key card there, but you have to kind of farm enemies until they drop a key card. Otherwise, you can't leave. Most of the time, you get the key cards pretty fast, though, so it's usually not a huge problem. You may have to kill guys for a little while in some areas. Now for this, we're going to farm these bald sacks of shit in trench coats. I lose a life here, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to get all my lives filled up. It just means I have to farm a little bit longer. So yeah, it does cost me some time as far as that goes, but no real consequence aside from wasting more time. So now you want to get into this car. And once you get in this vehicle, you're going to just run these guys over for a long period of time. It's probably going to be several minutes. And the idea with taking out these bald scumbags is to try to get as many missiles as you can. You want to get 99 missiles. See, I got a 5-pack of missiles. When you see the missile icon, it gives you 5 missiles. They will drop bags of drugs and money and other bullshit, but the only thing you should be concerned with is getting those missiles. So you're going to run these guys over for a long time. You're invincible in the car as far as I can tell, but you can crash and lose the car. So the way that happens is, if you look on your map here where it says start and finish, right above where the car is, it says the bridge. You don't want to go any farther than that T where it says the bridge. It shows where your car is located on the map. And see, I edited out all the farming here, but I did this until I had 99 missiles. I edited that down for this tutorial version. You can see the full raw video that shows all the farming bullshit if you really want to see that. I posted it up. But you want to farm until you have 99 missiles. But the way I avoid crashing is I don't go beyond the T. Where it says the bridge, I don't go beyond that T because then there's a chance that you'll get blindsided by that dumpster or whatever it is and destroy your car. Because the screen can move very fast if you hold down the right. You can inch the screen, but it's just more dangerous. I just stay before that because there's plenty of guys to run over in that gap, but before the T and the where it says start. So you can kill these guys if you want, but the main thing is you could just jump around and just jump past everyone, which is usually what I do. But that part I didn't do it there for some reason. Now once you see this second stack of dumpsters coming up, or whatever the fuck it is. You'll see it. There's going to be a helicopter here. Just keep jumping and you'll skip that. I set my jump to auto fire. It makes you jump really fast, and it makes it really good for avoiding damage. So I recommend doing that on the emulator. Set jump to auto fire, or if you have an auto fire controller. If not, you can mash it, and that'll work. But it's a little bit slower to do it that way, and it's probably not as reliable. So now you need to position yourself just right in this dumpster at the helicopter's height. So you may have to try it a few times to get in there. But once you're in this position, there's going to be a helicopter that keeps spawning from the right side. It'll do that infinitely forever, and there's no timer in this game. So kill as many as you need. For every 20 helicopters that you kill, you get a 1-up, because they're 5,000 points each. So 100,000 points is a 1-up. So do this until you have 5 lives. I edited it down. I probably did about 12 minutes of farming total for beating this game. So I edited most of that out. But just do that until you have... That's why we got all those missiles, so we could kill all the helicopters with the missiles. You have to use the missiles on the helicopters. I didn't try shooting them with the gun, but I recommend using the missile. So now that we did that, there's going to be still 36 or so missiles remaining. So those 36 missiles are going to be used on the final bosses. So don't use them on anything else. Save them for the last bosses. As far as the rest of this level, you want to sometimes crouch and shoot to take out the dogs, because sometimes they will relentlessly pursue you. Other times they will run past you and leave the screen, but there's times when they will just chase you and chew off all your health. So it's usually good to kill the dogs when you see them by crouching and shooting. Again, hold B to crouch. It's an awkward control, and you hold your fire button to fire your machine gun. If you're at a machine gun, then you're going to fire very slowly. You still hold the button, but it's like a pistol that fires very slow. Now, once you get back in this car again, I recommend driving pretty slow so you can keep the car and not destroy it. By driving slow, it's very easy, and you can keep the car for the whole rest of the level and beat the rest of the level. Drive past all these enemies. Just move. Just inch the screen. Just tap your right directional to inch the screen. And once you go a little bit farther, you're going to see this whole row of dumpsters. Just stay on the very bottom, and now you can speed out of the level. There's nothing else to worry about at that point. You may hit into that, but I think you have to crash into that last row of dumpsters, but it doesn't matter, because it's the end of the stage. So yeah, now after doing that, it is tedious, but if you don't want to do that method, you can, of course, you can just arrest a bunch of those bald-headed scumbags. And you can arrest, if you arrest 50 or 100 of them, you'll rack up tons of lives at the end of the level. So you do have the option to just arrest a bunch of those bald guys in the earlier levels. They do also appear, like I said, at other stages that you could farm them, but certain enemies are not arrestable. Like the clowns cannot be arrested for some reason. Neither can these Molotov guys. I don't know why. I guess they're just too fucking scummy to arrest. You just have to kill them, put them out of their fucking misery. Once you get to this adult bookstore, you're going to go to the last door, the last exit door. It's the 5th door on the adult bookstore building. It's the very last door. You can't miss it. You go in that last door, get the thing that says safe. That's your key card. Now here I accidentally went back in the same door again, so I have to jump through these assholes again. But all you got to do is keep jumping and keep moving and just avoid them. Now once you get out of that 5th door, just put your card in here and then go in this door and you beat the level. It's a very easy level. Very short. If you don't know where to go, you will go in several wrong doors and the level takes a little bit longer. So just make sure you always go in that 5th door. Don't bother with the other doors. For this part, I like to kind of stay in the middle lane and just keep jumping my way to the end here, avoiding these machine gun assholes, and just go in the door and leave. I use this rapid jumping technique a lot. Same strategy here. You want to avoid these some of these marijuana plants unless you know which ones have bombs in them. One of the ones towards the end has a bomb in it. I end up blowing myself up. I wasn't even trying to touch it. What you want to do here is keep shooting these guys until one of them drops a green key card. That's what you need to exit and beat the level. See, that one has a bomb. It took most of my health off. So I ended up dying. But get that green little card, and then you can... I grabbed the missiles there because I wanted some more missiles. If you happen to get some missiles while trying to get the key cards, take the extra missiles because you're going to want them for the last bosses. Because if you don't know what to do, you can run out of missiles very easily. and then you're kind of fucked. You will get 5 missiles every time you die and respawn on your life, but 5 is not a lot. I'm going to definitely break down the last boss. This game took me around 2 hours and 14 minutes to beat. Part of that was because I farmed in practice. I did the full farming, which takes a while, and then I did it again on my actual run. And then I got it on my first full attempt. I beat the game. So while you're jumping around avoiding these guys, keep hopping to your right, but be ready to change direction like mid-air. Because there's going to be these pink cars that come for you and will try to run you over, and they do massive damage. So while you're hopping, be ready to change directions. By doing that and changing directions mid-air, I was able not to get hit by any of the cars. And I had not really practiced that method before, but I just kind of improvised it, and it was easy to do it that way. So yeah, I ended up beating it on my first full attempt. I did 2 resets where I was very early in the game, and I reset it twice. But on my first full attempt, I was able to beat the game. So it took me around 2 hours and 14 minutes. The final boss, I had to practice for a while because it makes no sense. The hit detection is complete shit. Makes no fucking sense. So I'm going to explain a way to bullshit the boss. And that way you can just beat it. Because if you try to do what the game wants you to do, it seems very inconsistent. You can see in my practice session how much... the last boss, how much bullshit it was with the hits. Just check out my practice session that I'll have posted up. For these parts, you don't even have to collect the key cards. You already have them for some reason. So just get to the doors. And, press up on the key card area, then press up on the door to go in, as we've been doing. You're going to bounce your way over here to the end of this area. Very easy whole stage. Just bouncing your way through the stage pretty much. And put the card in, then exit. Now we're approaching the end of the game. This is the final stage. So for this part, crouch and shoot these dogs. Otherwise, they're going to chew off all your life. They're very dangerous, especially when they come in pairs. So make sure you kill the dogs. The other enemies you can bounce around and ignore until you get to the until you scroll the screen all the way to the end to where the screen stops scrolling. Once the screen stops scrolling, you will then want to kill the enemies so that the wheelchair guy comes out. And once the wheelchair guy comes out, you're going to fire missiles at him. See, like that? You want to try not to waste too many missiles trying to hit him. He can be a little tricky. He's pretty spastic, but hopefully you can get him within a reasonable amount of shots and not miss too many shots. You should have a decent amount of missiles by this point. See, I have 45 missiles, so you should have a good amount. So after you hit the wheelchair guy with 3 missiles, he will stop crawling on the ground. I guess I don't know if he dies because there's another boss after this. I don't know if it's supposed to be the same asshole, but he'll stop crawling, and then you can grab the gold key card to go into the last boss area. He may kind of bust out of the side of the screen a few times, but once you get him 3 times, now you can grab that gold card. So now's the final boss. This part is complete bullshit, but I'm going to explain exactly what I did. I kept my jump button on rapid fire to keep bouncing up and down, and I also use turbo button for the firing button for the missiles, because that'll make the missiles come out every time when you press the button. So what I did to get his sunglasses off, it was very quick, very easy to miss. But what I did was I get right up to him point blank, and I hold the jump button, constantly jumping, and then I release the missiles at around his eyeglass height. And it's not going to be perfect shots because the shooting is very bad in this. But if you do it like that, you can get his sunglasses off immediately, and then continue jumping and shooting him in the face with the missiles, and that'll blow his head off. You may be able to stay on the ground for his second form without the sunglasses and take him out, but I found it easier just to jump and continue jumping and shooting his face, as I did with the first form. Now for this form, it's very, very specific about hitting this guy. I mean, it's very awkward to hit him. I don't even understand exactly how it works, but you want to wait till the skull is fully leaned forward. It has to be fully forward and trying to bite you when the mouth opens. When it does that, you want to start shooting at it and moving up and down as you're shooting. And eventually you'll be able to get a bullet in to the little vertebrae or spinal column that's like right below his head. And you have to do that to all the little columns of his spine. You have to take each one out. When you take one out, you'll see it shorten and it'll say 25,000 points. You'll see a little point indicator. If it doesn't do that, then you didn't hit it. You only have to hit each one once. But see, now I have the extremely slow pistol because I ran out of my machine gun. So I am able to get a hit in, I believe, like this, but it's very hard to do. So I do eventually end up committing suicide just to get my machine gun back. See, I got a hit in, but it's very hard to do it with the pistol because it fires super slow. Even with the machine gun, it's very hard to even land the shots consistently. You know, even though I did it a few times with the pistol, it was starting to take really long. And when he gets close, you just want to keep jumping, holding down jump on rapid fire, and just move away from him again to get some distance, and then just repeat. Just start shooting and moving up as you're shooting, and eventually you should get the bullets in. But you got to hit that vertebrae right under his chin, I believe. But, I mean, I see many times where the bullet hits it and it doesn't count. So I still don't understand exactly how this shit works. It's very inconsistent. It's a very shitty, cheap boss fight. But if you're patient with it and you keep your distance and just keep moving away from him when he gets too close and you know, create distance and then just start taking shots. I committed suicide there because I just wanted to get my machine gun back. I have a shit ton of lives, so I wasn't even worried about that at this point. And you can see how tedious it is. I mean, it really makes no sense how you have to do it. But eventually your shot should get in if you keep taking shots at him. You should get it in eventually. I recommend using save and load state practice heavily for this final boss to make sure you got it down. You might want to practice the wheelchair guy too. I didn't practice him, but you definitely want to practice this boss because it's real bullshit. And if you don't have it down right, you'll just lose all your lives. There's no continues in this game. So you got to make sure you have the final boss down. But yeah, the trickiest part about the final boss is that first form with the sunglasses on. I've wasted all my missiles before, like 50 missiles, trying to hit and take his sunglasses off, and was unable to do it. So the way I found is standing point blank to his face and rapidly jumping with auto fire. You know, with an auto fire setting on the emulator or on a rapid fire controller would probably work. If you're doing it manually without rapid fire on an actual system or something like that, then you may have to tap jump rapidly and do it that way, and then tap your button rapidly to fire missiles. If you tap your fire button instead of holding it, you'll shoot a missile. It's a very strange control scheme. What I did was I would set the firing button to rapid fire, and it would fire out missiles rapidly that way. What I did was I was playing on an emulator, and I had a controller with 4 face buttons. So I had the top 2 set to rapid fire, and the bottom buttons, the bottom, the 2 bottom buttons were set to manual fire. So I was able to just simply, change what buttons I was using for rapid and for manual. I found that a good way to do it. But you can definitely improvise with that. But the idea is to keep jumping right point blank in his face and then release the missiles right at his sunglasses while you're point blank. You have to take the sunglasses out so that you just see his eyes. Once you see only his eyes, keep jumping and shooting at his face. And once you get to that spinal segment, that's the last segment, but it's just tedious. It's not hard, but you're going to be shooting at him for a long time before you get all those segments out. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.